Today we mark our connection with one another and with all life on this earth, from its very beginnings, and celebrate our homecoming as we gather in from our summer adventures. For some, those were far-flung travels around the world, and for some, they were right here in our own backyard. For some, they were born of mind and spirit, the journeys to the geographies of our inner selves. Today we flow home again to this place with water in its name, this beloved river of grass. Like Unitarian Universalist congregations all around the world, we symbolize this reunion with a water communion ceremony I love to call a gathering of the waters. The first UU water ritual was held more than 30 years ago at a conference of the Unitarian Universalist women in East Lansing, Michigan. At that gathering, women brought water from their separate journeys and mingled them into one to symbolize how their time together transformed them and rendered them forever joined in spirit in their common work to transform this world. Today, we too mingle our waters in celebration of our journeys that have brought us once more to this precious place. If you are new to us today, you've got a minute here, if you didn't bring any water with you, to go back there and fill out a slip for our symbolic water, for those journeys that we might not have tangible physical water for. This morning we continue our expedition to learn and live more fully the way of love. Let us consider love as this water of life, its nourishment and its power. What do scientists search for as a sign of life on other planets? Water. And what does science teach us about how vast canyons were carved straight through mountains of stone? Water. Water feeds all living things and shapes all living things on this earth. What of the spirit, the heart, the essence of our lives and our time on this earth? What water feeds your spirit? What water shapes your being? What water motivates your actions? Love is that water. Love is the water that wears down the rock of hatred, the rock of ignorance, the rock of pain, the rock of anger, any rock that keeps us from uniting with one another and communing with the divine that surrounds us at all times. And make no mistake, my beloveds, this love that calls our better selves forward and compels us into this world so desperate for love, it's falling in on itself. This love is a power that won't be stopped. This morning we gather the waters of our lives in this river of grass, this place like no other in the world, this place we are called to do better today than we did yesterday, and do more of what it takes to make tomorrow even better. As we begin this celebration, let us first remember those for whom water is not plentiful. This empty vessel we have before us represents all of those in the world for whom water is not readily available or clean or safe, for whom water is not a common right that flows from the tap, but a treasure carried in heavy pots for miles that their families might survive. And lest you think that's only over there, in countries over there, I have one word for you: Flint. Let us remember the waters of our earth that have been poisoned by human greed, and hold in our hearts those around the world and here in these United States who put their lives on the line to protect the sanctity of water. Let us observe a moment of silence for those for whom water is not readily available. And now let us gather our waters. First, we pour into this bowl water left from last year's gathering, which was also begun with water from the gathering before that, and water from the gathering before that, and water from the gathering before that. This water that symbolizes our history, those on whose shoulders we stand, our Unitarian and Universalist foremothers and fathers who forged this faith we inherit, and the history of this beloved community, this river of grass. As we prepare to call forth the waters from this many directions as we have gathered, let us take a moment to remember those whose journey brought us here, remembering that this congregation is young, and in this room are those who laid her foundations. We remember those who made it possible for us to be here. And now we would like to call forth the waters from the east.
From countries far away, or from the ocean kissing our land of flowers, from the tides that bring us Africa and Europe and the island lands.
There is water here from the Ganges River in India, experiencing the stages of life and death and the spiritual path. There is water here from the River Rhine as it flows through Switzerland and carries people on its back. There's water here from surroundings of Susi, the lakes and rivers and streams. There's water here from the Atlantic Ocean, crossed on the way to Germany. There is water here from the Danube River, where I rode the current from Hungary to Germany. We have brought the world among us today. And this water comes that we may find serenity in the presence of the ocean that borders our Florida. We call forward the waters of the south, from the respite of cool shade, from raindrops on willow branches, from the lazy rivers echoing twilight lullabies, shimmering beneath the summer moon.
This water comes from the tap in my kitchen. We are enjoying our newly renovated home. This water comes from North Carolina, where we escaped the last hurricane. This water symbolizes or comes from the Florida Keys, helping my aging mother cope with heart surgery and damage from Irma. It also comes from Spain, vicariously enjoying my daughter traveling around the world to train future Olympic swimmers. This water comes from a long and wonderfully arduous trek through nature's glory. Thompson's Creek in the William Barkhead Forest, Alabama, Rick and Zena. My family and I were in Greenville, South Carolina for our larger family reunion. This water comes from our beautiful Florida coast with its warm ocean waters. We played in the waves, created sandcastles, and enjoyed the sun. This water symbolizes decompression, where we slowly return to the world on Nantala Lake, North Carolina. We call the water from the west, from the lands of the setting sun, from the farthest reaches of the pioneers push into new land, from mountains and deserts and prairies that traveled here.
This water is from Longboat Key. Had a family reunion there. This water is from Yellowstone's Steamboat Geysers. We witnessed the first start of the largest geyser in the world. This water is from the tide pools of the Central California coast. This water is from the Columbia River passing Portland, Oregon. A good place for liberals. This is water from the beach, otherwise known as my second church. We're grateful you're here this morning. This was my first weekend outside, reconnecting with nature. We call forth the waters from the north, from pine forests and rocky beaches, from cool nights and quiet dawns, from cities that never sleep.
This water is from my Grandma Monta's cold, sweet well water from the Adirondacks. I spent every summer there of my childhood. This water is from Washington, D.C. and Sioux City, where we celebrated with our biological family and our own UU family. This water comes from Michigan, where a lost relative found us. This water symbolizes the Baltic Sea, where we immersed ourselves in the lessons of history and glowed in the late night sun. This water comes from the north, where we went to our grandson's birthday. This water symbolizes Lake Chautauqua in upstate New York, where we were lucky enough to attend the Chautauqua Institution and enjoy great lectures, performances, in the company of good friends. This water symbolizes Orlando, where we went on vacation with our family. This water symbolizes the Chicago River and Lake Michigan, from Esther, Margie, and Matthew. This water symbolizes family from Susie. Finally, we bring the waters symbolizing those journeys of the heart and mind and spirit not bound by the features of any earthly geography, those ineffable dreams into which we live day by day and drop by drop.
Youngins, we call forth the water that is symbolic. Here in the southern region of the state of Florida, we kind of have trouble deciding if water's from the south or the north or the east or the west, because we have so many different directions and different ways of thinking of those directions. These waters we have mingled here are blessed by the joining of our individual journeys in one beloved community. The lives we gather here, our words and our thoughts, our gladness, our sadness, our history, our hope. Bless this water even as we are blessed by this life the water brings among us. This morning we will increase the vitality of this water by using it to bless the work at hand in this congregation. If any would like to come forward here for a blessing of your hands, you may make your way as the music plays. Come into the healing rivers, rivers of grace. Come into the healing rivers, rivers of grace. Come into the healing rivers, rivers of grace, flowing down, down, down to my soul. Flow into the healing rivers. Flow into the healing rivers of grace. Rivers of grace, flow into the healing rivers, rivers of grace, flow touch life, the hands that feel pain, the hands that make peace, the hands that reach out with compassion, the hands that offer kindness, the hands that teach hearts of all ages, hands that tend the sick and comfort the suffering. Bless the hands yet clenched in anger. Bless the hands grown stiff with age and with work. Bless the hands that make beauty and art and music and buildings and quilts and food. Bless the hands that do the work of love and mercy and grace in this hurt and all too often hurtful world. Here's the thing. We are so grateful to have found this precious place, this remarkable faith, this way of love. But my dear ones, it is not enough that we found it. We must carry it to the world. The world is always hungry for love, but right now it is just desperate, starving for love. We aim to be a people that carry that love into the world. Sometimes, though, we have these wonderful thoughts, but we forget. Somebody annoys us. Somebody cuts us off in traffic. The boss asks for something unreasonable. The children won't go to sleep. The kitten won't stay off the kitchen table. Our families believe other than we do and behave in ways we don't understand. Things are going to get hotter as this world goes through this passage of change that we're in the midst of right now. Our choice is, do we turn that change for the good, or do we let that change go and return to the way we always have been, sweep it under the rug, and wait for another generation to make the difference we said we would make? And so this morning, we are going to share our hearts with you in a very physical, tangible way. I need 4 people to pass baskets for me. Come on up. You know, I have prayer beads in my car that a seminary friend gave me, goodness, a long time ago. Do you know how often that saved someone else's life? Put them in your pocket, put them where you can see them, put them where you can feel them, put them where they're going to remind you that this love is not ours to keep. This love is ours to share. And feel free to take all you want, because we've got more baskets full in hospitality, and I've got more in my office. So if we happen to run out of hearts, which we never run out of heart, but if we need more of these, we got them. So feel free to take these hearts and carry them with you into your life.